We have guests that come and they'll say,
perk.
who is that guy with the funny pants? The guy with the funny
Oh,
pants?
he's just the owner.
He's the owner.
The people, to be honest, we have fun. We have a
yeah,
blast
we have a
when we
great
come to
time.
work. We have a
People.
great time.
The
people that
guests,
we
a
work
lot
with
of
and the
nice guests, but the employees are really, really special.
That's what I was going to say. Advice for a new employee is to smile. That's
Right.
the number one thing. If you're smiling
And happy.
speak to people, everybody you see, whether it's staff member or a guest, smile, say hello. You really can't fail.
I am Tess Murray, and I am in my 42nd year here at Woodloch Pines.
How does that feel, 42nd year?
Feels pretty awesome. I have loved every minute of this job. It's been a great journey. I feel like it was a gift 42 years ago when I started here.
How did your journey at Woodloch begin? What initially drew you here?
It's kind of a silly story. I grew up in the area on a farm. I went out into the world, and I was never one that wanted to leave this area, but life just took me out and about. I got married, I started to have children, and after I had 2 kids, I really wanted to raise them in this area because I like it. And my brother worked here. At that time, he started when he was in high school, and he actually ended up getting a scholarship or help from Woodloch to become a chef. So he's been a chef here, and he asked me when I said I was moving back, he's like, well, you got to work at Woodloch. I'm like, I don't know what Woodloch is. And he said, you come back and whatever you do, you don't want to work at the front desk. You want to work in the dining room. Those guys are a lot of fun. You're going to love it. I interviewed with the dining room manager at the time, Glenn Warzel, and he said I'd be perfect for the front desk.
Do you remember your first day working here?
I remember when I came in for my interview, I thought, wow, how nice and friendly the staff were when they greeted me at the front desk. I was in Philadelphia at the time, so I think coming from the city and then just seeing how friendly people were, that impressed me. I remember being on the switchboard was the first job they would give you then, so you'd just be answering the phone, and it was pretty interesting, but you covered a lot of things. Everything would come through that switchboard. People call for help. I can remember hanging up on one of the owners, which I died 1,000 deaths over. Like, oh no, I just hung up on one of the owners by accident, of course.
Do you have a favorite, funny memory or just a nice memory with one of the Kiesendahl family members?
Yeah, so many. I'm not sure I can share on camera. When I was younger, they used to do a staff show. There was no nightclub yet, just the North Lodge, and I was a performer. Very loosely using that word. But I would dance, and Brad was this big. And his mom came, when we were practicing, and he goes, Brad's going to be in the show, so he's yours to keep an eye on. Well, I was like, I'm going to keep an eye on Brad. But I was like, well, I hope he survives this summer. But, and he was a kid, 8 or 9, but that was so funny. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't hurt or harm the boy. It was terrifying. But he was a good kid, but, he was a kid. So he's running here, running there, and half the time I had no idea where he was. I was like, okay.
Oh my God.
Well, that's kind of a little funny story, but.
Moving a little bit more towards the guest perspective, how's it been developing that kind of relationship with guests?
That's amazing. I can remember working at the desk when I started. There were no computers. We used typewriter. When guests would be coming in, it would be a check-in day. We would type up the alphabetical. And so the other staff at the front desk would be like, oh, so-and-so's coming, so-and-so's coming. And when I was new, I was like, what? I don't know any of these people. And then there would be repetition. And I can remember, I'll still remember Mr. Fiato. When he checked in, he was like, Tess, I haven't seen you. And I was like, oh, he knew who I was. Mr. Fiato knew me. Because everyone else would have these guests that they would greet and everything would be fun. But so Mr. Fiato was the first guest that recognized me and remembered me. But he's retired now in Florida. But I kept a relationship with his family all the way till he moved to, and we've even communicated a little bit since he's been in Florida, text messages or whatever. So that, and always so kind and such a good person.
So you learned a lot of things working here in a lot of different departments, it sounds like.
I am so much of a better person because I worked here. But I am. The family is great. And they expose us to lots of stuff. I've had fun with everyone. Met so many wonderful guests that are my friends now, really. And the staff is great. Family's great. I've gotten so much more than I've given. And I feel like I give a lot. And I enjoy giving a lot, so.
One of the questions I have is, you've been working here for so long. What advice would you give to a new staff member coming into Woodloch?
Advice for a new staff member. Smile goes so far. Honestly, it's overwhelming and pretty scary to walk in here because everybody is close-knit and they're friendly and we know each other and we're welcoming, but it's still overwhelming. There's a lot here, and if you work in the dining room or if you work in housekeeping or in the bar, you end up just knowing your little niche now because there's so much, but there's so much else out there. So it's intimidating and a little bit scary. So just hang in there with that. A smile goes a long way. If you make a mistake, we're all human. Everybody makes a mistake at least once a day. So you don't worry about your mistakes. It's how you recover from your mistakes with a smile, an apology, that kind of a thing. Being kind, being friendly to our guests and to the staff. You couldn't ask for anything more than that.
If you could describe Woodloch in one word, what would it be and why?
Love. There we go again. Because it is. Oh,
Perfect.
sorry.
No, you're good. I'll make sure I get you a tissue.